Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Negative Newt 1788D from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the arsehole here for revealing my brother's body count to his fiancée? I, 30 female, was out having a girls' night with my little brother's 28 male fiancé, 24 female. They recently got engaged after dating for about a year. I enjoy hanging out with the soon-to-be sister-in-law, and this was one of the only times I've hung out with her without my brother in tow. So we were having a ball when most of us were a bit tipsy, and she started asking me about my marriage and some more intimate questions, like how it feels to be with one person for the rest of your life and all that jazz. Following this conversation, someone in the group asked everyone how many folks each gal has slept with. I honestly wasn't comfortable with the conversation, but my soon-to-be sister-in-law sort of took hold of the topic and mentioned that her and my brother don't concern themselves with each other's past. Her words were, the past stays in the past, and if he slept with 20 women, what does it matter to her? I agree with her, but this is where I probably messed up. My little brother was somewhat adventurous in his late teens, early 20s. He was a college athlete and in a frat, as we went to the same college and he had a lot of mutual friends. This is information that was made aware to me without my wanting, to be honest. So I know the ballpark of his body count, and it's well over 50 women, probably closer to 100. And my brother confirmed this to me when I asked him if he was being safe with his decisions at that time, e.g. going to the doctor to get tested and such. She followed up her comment with something like, and even if it was a huge number like 35 people or so, I wouldn't care. Her saying that prompted me to ask, what if it was 50 women? She sort of got a strange look on her face and mouthed the word 50. But I played it off like I didn't know what I was talking about and was more so curious about what a cutoff range for a lot is. Fast forward a few days and I meet them both for lunch and she seems sort of sullen and my brother is being short with me. When she goes to the bathroom, I ask my brother what's up and he basically blames me for having revealed his sexual past history to his fiancée, and now she's acting strange towards him. I explained that it was a slip of the tongue and I didn't confirm any number, and now he is pissed and a couple of our mutual friends have let me know I fucked up. Am I the arsehole here? What's jumped out to me straight away in this story is that the conversation came up about how many each person has slept with, and OP says that I honestly wasn't comfortable with the conversation and then hints at someone else's past history. I'm just trying to put myself in OP's shoes, trying to imagine being in that little group of people and they're talking and this conversation comes up, especially when it's to do with one of your family members. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not getting involved in that at all. But Mortsy17 says, info, what was the best possible outcome for this in your head? And yeah, no, I think that's the question, isn't it? Still Storm says, you're the arsehole. You weren't comfortable letting anyone know your body count, but had no problem revealing your brother's. Hopefully none of your friends tell you important secrets. Here for Cute Dog Pic says, you're the arsehole. She literally just got done saying how she didn't want to know and that she has never even asked you. And you jump in and told her anyways. Not to mention you inserted yourself into a situation that was personal and had nothing to do with you. Linerva says exactly. She was saying she wanted the past to remain there and not think about it, and that they didn't talk about it for a reason. Maybe they find it easier to leave it in the past if they don't bring it up. Many couples just don't want to hear about the sexual past. It's a reasonable boundary. And maybe the argument between the couple wasn't about the number, but about OP's shitty behavior. God knows if my husband's siblings started talking to me about my husband's prior sex life, I'd be having words with my husband to get their sibling to shut the fuck up in the future. It's fucking weird. If OP was so worried that sister-in-law should know, she should have mentioned to her brother privately that his fiancé thinks 25 or 35 people is a lot and maybe they aren't on the same page. Instead, the poor fiancé feels humiliated because in a public conversation, she also didn't say that she may have been uncomfortable with, where she didn't reveal any information or ask for any. OP walked in with her verbal diarrhea and was basically like, well, fuck you, your fiancé has slept with over 50 people, you're welcome. Dude, nobody fucking asked, so of course you're the arsehole. And Gnarly says, unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say everyone sucks here. OP should not have shared details of anyone else's sexual history. Bro absolutely should have been honest about his history before getting engaged. And even sister-in-law to be kind of screwed up by saying that his past doesn't matter to her when it clearly does. So OP came back in to update the post and says, "Y'all, I showed my brother the post after apologizing for my mistake, and mostly he laughed but was baffled at the hostile replies. My brother and future sister-in-law are fine. My future sister-in-law actually approached me privately and let me know she was happy to have the conversation now with my brother versus later. She did say it was a shock when he told her his sexual history, but at that point I excused myself out of the conversation and let her know I would not be having any discussions about my brother's sexual history from here on out. My brother is not plotting his revenge like commenters and messengers implied. He understands that although this was not my court to say, he probably shouldn't have waved it off at the early stages of their relationship like he had done. Yes, brother and future sister-in-law are still together. The internet psychologist who diagnosed me with psychopathy and narcissism, you should consider touching grass. For what it's worth, I also got a lot of messages telling me that they wish sexual history was discussed in greater detail with their partner prior to marriage. Take that as you will. I also got messages that were pretty explicit and in the opposite direction. For those who try to imply that my brother and I have an incestuous relationship, please close the porn tabs and wipe the Cheeto dust off your fingers. Something I didn't mention was that I was a college athlete myself and word travels fast in those groups. I'm close enough with my brother to ask if he was being safe with his choices, and that's how I came to know his sexual past. And there was a couple of comments calling basically OP pissy that, that they was judged you or the arsehole on that post, and then they came back with a snotty update, if you like. OP responded saying, "I'm not pissy. I take responsibility for my part and was the arsehole in that situation. No doubt about it. I posted this update because it was suggested by a few that I do, and a lot of folks were making assumptions that I ruined his relationship." And I gotta be straight up, I can understand OP, having a certain tone to their post, because there was some wild comments in there, people going down the incestuous route. I find that wild. Along the same lines of people that, feel the need to DM posters with threats and stuff like that. I just like, what goes through their head? But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story from the relationship advice subreddit from a throwaway account. Does have an update, but people were saying in the comments that it's not quite concluded. Haven't read it as yet, but let's get involved. Titled, "My husband wants to stay friends with a person he cheated with." About 3 months ago, my husband confessed to me to having an affair with someone he has known since school. She has always been a close friend of his. The affair lasted almost 2 years, and he was very conflicted with whether he wanted to give up on our marriage or stay and work on it. We've been together over 20 years and have 3 young children. I did not want to give up on it and encouraged him to stay. He stayed, and although his reasons for staying are the children, we both have been working hard on rebuilding a new relationship. We began marriage counseling and we have a deeper communication with one another. I've been initiating more intimacy and things have been going well. From our first marriage counseling sessions, he talked about his feelings for his affair partner, saying he loves her and that he would like for her to still play some part in his life. The marriage counselor says that while he has feelings for her, it wouldn't be appropriate. I thought with time he would simply forget about her and shift his focus to what's important, i.e. his family, his wife. But last week he brought her up again and wanted to know if he can reconcile with her and have a friendship with her. I said I wasn't ready. I'm hoping to stall this until he stops asking. He said he understood that it might be too soon. I'm worried if I never allowed him to speak to her, he might just start talking to her behind my back. Though currently he seems so committed to being honest with me, that could change with time, as his guilt for cheating begins to fade. As I said, his main reason for staying are the kids, but I'm keen on having a strong relationship with us. That can't be possible if she is reintroduced into his life. His feelings for her will probably come flooding back if they have gone at all. I don't understand how he can't see that. I don't know whether continually blocking him will breed resentment over time. I find stories like this really sad because clearly OP's trying to make it work, and if I'm being completely 100% honest, I can't see it happening. You know, I checked out when he said he had an affair, but even more so when it said he's very conflicted on whether he wanted to give up on our marriage and stay and work on it. It just feels like everything's been half-assed from his side, and you deserve so much better than that. And then he's saying that he still loves her in your counseling sessions and he wants some part in her life, and then he's trying to reintroduce her back into his life. Again, for me, you just deserve much better than that. But Alpha Commenting says, lawyer up, nothing to save here. Mr. 2020 says friendship with the affair partner should be a non-starter. If that's where he wants to be, you may be better off long-term just letting him go and getting a divorce. Your kids will pick up on the tension and between the two of you. I picked it up and figured out quickly who had the affair. Sunny Traveler says, what the fuck did I just read here? Your husband, the one, had a 2-year affair with a friend. 2, admits he still loves her. 3, he still wants to be friends with her. 4, his main reason is staying for the kids, not that he actually loves you and realizes what a huge mistake he made. Do you really have that low of self-esteem that you think this is what you deserve in a marriage? Your husband should be cutting off all contact with his so-called friend and be groveling at your feet to forgive him. It sounds like he just wants to have his cake and eat it too. Icy Paleontologist says there is no marriage here. He's in love with someone else. You are co-parents. The only question to answer here is, are you co-parenting in the same house while you throw all self-respect out the window and beg this man to keep pretending to be your husband? Or do you divorce and co-parent as 2 single adults? Don't show your kids it's okay to settle for these rotting leftovers of a relationship. So OP did update and says thank you for all the comments on my previous post, which can be found here. I brought up in our recent counseling session that I found it triggering that he, my husband, still wanted some form of relationship with his affair partner after all the damage he has caused our family. My husband's response was that whilst he understood that, he was still keen that in time he would be able to. All the advice our counsellor offered was that whilst my husband had these feelings for his affair partner, it would not be inappropriate. I guess that implies that if his feelings for affair partner fade down to just being platonic, that it would be alright. I wasn't too happy with the suggestion and not sure why she made that suggestion. Later that evening I checked through my husband's phone, something which I have never done before. He had messaged his affair partner a few days before, giving details of what was discussed in marriage counselling. He said to her that he was still fighting to have a friendship with her. She had replied back saying that if he was committed to repairing his marriage, he probably shouldn't be bringing her up as it would hinder any progress we would be making. To which he replied he would spend the rest of his life asking until she says yes. The affair partner didn't respond to that. I have to add that the recent message he has sent was the only one that had been sent over the last 12 weeks. I know he could have been sending messages and then deleting, but then why leave that one most recent one? He could have deleted that one too. Apart from the feelings he has for his affair partner still, things with my husband are going well. We have more intimacy and we're spending more time together as a couple. It's just the feelings for his affair partner that are causing an issue. Our marriage counsellor has cautioned us and explained that his feelings for her are just as strong a year into recovery. We may need to rethink whether this is worth saving. And like I said at the very beginning of this one, that I sort of checked out of that relationship very, very early. It doesn't feel like he's going, wow. From that text that he sent, he's never going to stop chasing that affair partner for friendship, and likely more after he makes that connection once again. It's over for me. There's no way of coming back from that. And like that last comment I said about your children as well, I think OP needs to be considering them in this situation too. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And some people have been asking for like a couple of stories from the other subreddits. I've been lurking around the entitled people one. I found this story from Jaded Foundation 910, who says, my cousin's jealousy blew up in her face. Throwaway spare account. I like the inbox on my main to be nice and peaceful. My 28 male cousin, Mary, 22 female, grew to be an extremely jealous person in her teens. We've all hoped she would grow out of it, but she hasn't. She refuses to address it. When I proposed to my husband Sean a couple of years ago, Mary threw a fit. She wanted to be the first to get married between the two of us. She deserved it. She didn't even have a boyfriend. Because Sean and I chose to have a small personal wedding, we were able to use money set aside for us to buy a home and pay off half the mortgage. Cue another tantrum from Mary, despite the fact that there is no money set aside for her too, including from our grandparents and aunt Miranda, who chose not to have children. I think you can get the picture here. If I have something Mary doesn't, she wants it. If I accomplish something before her, it's not fair. It doesn't matter if she's younger than me by 6 years and would naturally reach some goals before her. There's just no logic in her tantrums. This brings us to Miranda's annual New Year's party. There's always food, drinks, and games. It's a fun night where we can get wasted safely with family and friends if we want to, especially since there are no kids in the family at the moment. When I was returning from the bathroom, I saw Sean looking extremely uncomfortable and trying to fend off Mary, who was sitting much too close to him on the couch. I managed to overhear her telling him that women are much better than men and insisting he try with her because he didn't know what he was missing. Now Sean is 100% gay, so this was just pathetic for her. But I was seeing red over the fact that she was attempting to ruin our marriage to satisfy her jealousy. I said, if women are so great, then date a woman instead of trying to get my gay husband to sleep with you. The entire room heard this. I didn't control my volume. Party ruined. The family has spared us from most of the chaos that followed, but today we found out that the money that was set aside for her is no longer for her. The tuition to pay for the remaining classes for her bachelor's degree has been refunded to our grandparents since spring classes haven't started yet. All the money from her parents is going to a younger brother, and all the money from our grandparents and Miranda is going to be distributed between him and myself. She's getting nothing. She's also been given 3 months to find a new place to live because her parents don't want her living under their roof. She was given a massive leg up just like I was, and she screwed herself out of it. I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. Okay, I don't. Ooh, to be a fly on the wall in that room when that went down, holy moly. I never understand some people though, that don't they think through the scenario before they act on it? I mean, how can you think that's going to end well? That the guy's going to suddenly stand up and go, yep, that sounds like a plan to me. Let's go and shag in the cupboard or something. I mean, just wow. Oh, the entitlement of these stories. I need to read another one just because it always blows my mind. Only Investment 1498 says, future sister-in-law demands I make a kid who isn't related to her to be my flower girl. I have no idea where to begin, but here it goes. I, 21 female, am getting married in a few weeks. Well, a while back I asked my sister-in-law Sadie, female 25, to be my bridesmaid. My fiancé warned me that she could be intense and I was under no obligation to include her in the wedding party, but she had been nice enough and wanted to have a certain number of bridesmaids. I am now regretting my decision. Sadie has a boyfriend, Kyle, 19 male. Kyle has partial custody of his ex's infant daughter. Not sure why, considering he is not related to her, but I never asked. Recently, Sadie has been on my case about picking a flower girl. I really wanted to be my friend's daughter since I have a fantastic relationship with her and was actually in the room for her birth. I even referred to her as my niece. Sadie, however, didn't take this well. When I told her, she blew up and started ranting about how she will ruin the pictures. My niece is neurodivergent and tends to get overstimulated when standing for long periods, so photos may be a challenge for her. I tried to explain to Sadie that my niece was practically family, and me and her mother have been making a plan to ensure that the photos won't be overwhelming for her. Sadie then took the opportunity to suggest Carl's daughter. I explained to her that I was in the delivery room when my niece was born and I wanted her to be a part of my big day since my fiancé proposed. I thought that was that until about 2 weeks ago. I got a special dress for my niece that looks like a cross between my dress and my bridesmaid's dress. I was showing it to my family when Sadie gives me a gift bag. Inside was an identical dress but for a baby. Sadie then confessed to snooping around my laptop to find the dress I chose for my flower girl and took the opportunity to order one for her boyfriend's daughter. She then said both girls could be a part of my special day. When I said no, she started screaming at me because it was bad enough that her boyfriend wasn't a groomsman and that I should want him to be a part of the family, especially since my wedding was for the whole family, not just me. She called me a selfish bridezilla and stormed out. I was able to calm her down by suggesting Carl's daughter have a special dance with me at the reception. This seemed to diffuse the situation, and my fiancé apologized for not clearly communicating just how crazy she can get. Everyone is telling me it isn't my fault, but I have to know, am I the bad apple? And the comments, absolutely exploded, saying, no way, you need to put a foot down immediately because, people were allowing her to get away with this behavior, and that's why she's so entitled. Some people even saying, get her out of the wedding, she's not good for it. OP did come in with a small update and said, Sadie was disinvited from the wedding by my fiancé due to how she treated me. And when her mum, fiancé's stepmom, got upset, he disinvited her too. I got a message from Carl's ex threatening to sue me if I let her baby be the flower girl. Sadie told her that she would be the flower girl. I am looking to hire security and maybe changing the venue without telling her so she won't cause trouble. I always find that always blows my mind thinking about security at a wedding, but we see it time and time again within these stories. And in the end, it's probably a good shout because a lot can happen at weddings, and security is always useful. But it always blows my mind that the frequency that we see it within these stories. I've never seen it before at a wedding I've been to. Again, not that I'm against it. It's just the amount we see it within these stories I find pretty shocking. But what do you guys make of this one? Do you think OP made the right decision? Do you think there'll be any future drama? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my